Hey, 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 beautiful souls. Kristen Lee, aka Super K, coming to you here with my car conscious conversations. So I was just sitting here. I'm waiting to do a little thing at my daughter's school, and I was just thinking about how our mind works and what happens to our body when we think of negative things, fear, stress, we argue, disagreements, which we all experience them in our life. And I was thinking about what happens and how, through my study of epigenetics, that what we focus on, what we feel, creates chemicals in our body. Constant chemicals are being created. We are like a pharmacy. Every thought, every emotion, every vibration, every frequency ends up causing chemicals to be excreted in our body. And so when we're thinking of positive, loving thoughts, dopamine, serotonin, all the beautiful love chemicals are created in our body, which actually cause us, when someone's in love or like new love, they say that they glow. And it's actually chemical reactions in our body that allow us to look vibrant, radiant. Higher vibrational emotions produce light. And so what happens when we are in stress or in an argument or disagreement with someone? Our body actually creates adrenaline and cortisol. Now, these cause our brain to fire and wire incoherently, to cause chaotic energy in our body, to create chemicals that go into our bloodstream that cause our body to stop keeping our immune system high and strong, stops us from being in our heart space, stops us from being in a coherent thought and emotional state. And it causes fight or flight mode in our nervous system that causes us to react. That adrenaline and cortisol create these chemicals that put us on that fight or flight mode where we're very jumpy and short-tempered. And even when we are replaying an argument, which I have to say, this has been the hardest thing in my spiritual awakening to deal with, is stop those conversations from unconsciously being played of someone that I may have had a disagreement with, or who I feel that doesn't truly see me for my authentic self. I replay the conversations and things that they said to me over and over again, and then I start having conversations back with them in my mind of what I would say or what I want to say of my truth that I many times don't end up saying to them personally. And I realized that has to end, because my body does not know if I'm literally in that argument now or if replaying it in my mind if it was in the past, because everything is dictated in the now. So my brain is telling my body that I'm in that fight or flight mode now when I'm arguing with someone in my head. It's causing that adrenaline and that cortisol, which causes my body to be in a diseased state. Now, what happens when we're in a diseased state? We create disease. And that's when illnesses, sicknesses, your immune system starts dropping. You don't have that coherent heart and mind. You don't have the flow of a higher vibrational state. Now, why is this important? Because if we want to start living to our limitless potential, we have to start renewing our mind. And Romans 12:2 talks about this. It says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, what we're seeing in this 3D reality, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, by taking back your mind, your thoughts, your conscious awareness of the conversations that you're having with yourself. And when that happens, that is when you'll be able to test the true and pleasing will of God. Meaning life will start flowing. You'll be receiving information, because our heart and our mind, when it's in coherence, it creates an electric magnetic field that we have, like soft technologies, these antennas in our body, through the neurites that are in our heart. There's 40,000 in our heart that sends information to our brain, and they are like Wi-Fi signals picking up information. We have to be very careful what information we are picking up from the quantum field. Is it lower vibrational states of pain, shame, guilt, grief, anger, resentment, fear? We need to make sure that we are elevating our state of awareness and consciousness to make sure that the chemicals within our body are producing what is giving us life, what is producing results of abundance, of clarity, of connection, of synchronicity, of manifestation. These are all things that our body, God-given ability, has been given to us. We have just been blinded and distracted by the whatever wants us to stay small and feel like we are limited, that God is outside of us, where the Bible says the kingdom of God is within. And we need to go within in prayer, meditation, quietness, stillness. When we can quiet our minds to a point that we are aware of the subconscious mind communication, we then can step out of being the reactor and become the observer. Now, that doesn't mean that we leave this body and we don't honor this body and that we say, I'm not of this body. Yes, we are not. We are spiritual beings, have a human experience. However, this vessel has been a gift from God in order to experience life through us in a way for it to experience life itself. We are all fragments of the whole, the one creator. We are all made in the likeness and image of God. And we are creators as well. We co-create with the divine in order to manifest, create this new world that, some people are going, oh, it's new age. It's new age. Stay away from that new age stuff. Are we wanting to stay in the old age of war, fight, flight, disconnectedness? Or do we want to come into the new age of the new earth and come into unity, connection, not just to each other, but to the God, creator, divine source, all that is? Do we want to be connected to that and get knowingness from within, or always seeking something outside of ourselves to expect someone to come and save us? Because there is no saving. It is us saving ourselves from ourselves. We are our own worst enemies. We are our grave diggers. We dig our own grave through our thoughts, through our emotions that permeate many times unconsciously. They say 95% of our conversations that we have daily with ourselves are repetitive every single day when we are unawake, when we are unconscious of our conscious thoughts. Now, this is what I believe the Great Awakening is. When people say, oh, I've awakened, I had my reawakening. What that means, for those that may have not experienced yet, is you become aware of your awareness. You awaken to the awareness itself, the I am that you are, the I am divine within you, that God spark, and understand that every word is like a spell. That's why they call them spelling words. Every word, in the beginning was the word was God, the word is God. Every word that you put after I am hold power, because God only says yes. And when we say I am, we become that great I am within us to let it flow through us to receive those things that we state I am. God only says yes. So when you say I am, yes, you are. Make sure what you say I am are of positive things that you are desiring to be. You need to, when they say act as if, it's of acting as if you already have what it is that you are stating that you are wanting or needing. And we never want to say I need. I want is a gray line where you say I want this, because when you say I want, it's kind of saying like you don't already have it. However, if you say I want, I don't need, you're kind of putting that, you're starting that momentum of going, I don't need it. Need is a feeling of need and lack. And God gives us everything we need and more. We are whole and complete just the way we are. We are giving everything we need. And so when we say I need, we're acting as if we don't already have it, where everything is available to us in the now. We just have to match the vibration of it. And God understands us through words have frequencies, but also through the vibration that emanates our emotional state with intention. It understands our intention through our vibration. So your words could be like, oh, I'm abundant, but inside you're like, oh, I'm not really. Well, you have to act as if you need to raise your vibration now, as if you already have what it is that you desire, because everything you desire is a desire of your heart, because it's already a possibility in the limitless potential of the quantum field of what can happen. Now, we have to do what's called collapsing timelines by choosing. We have a choice. We are given free will to make a choice. Do we choose to go down the fear path or down the faith path? And now I personally choose and hope that in conscious decision, I choose the faith path rather than going in fear of, scarcity, lack, war, everything that media tries to dictate the narrative of. I need to go within and ask, is that truth? Because I have a choice. I can either live by the patterns of this world or follow what the Bible says in Romans 12:2 of not conforming to the patterns of this world, but being transformed by the renewing of my mind. And when I renew my mind, and they used to say, show me the boy at the age of 7, I'll tell you the man he's about to become, that he will become. Because they used to think at the age of 7, we were subconsciously programmed, and that was it. Our brain solidified those neuron states, and that's who we were personality-wise, and everything for the rest of our life. Well, with science and neuroplasticity, they've understood now that that is a false statement. Our brain is so malleable that we can renew our mind through new thought patterns, new emotions, clearing the energy fields, things that are of the unseen realm. We treat the body as if, we treat it for disease. If its immune system's low, a lot of it stems from the emotions first. The thoughts and the feelings we feel dictate what goes on in our body. Every organ is actually associated with an emotional state. And actually through sound frequencies, we're able to heal the body holistically. So, in the beginning was the Word was God. Well, Word was sound. It's a vibration. It's a tone. And those tones can be healed when they're renewed. And one thing that truly, it was an epiphany to me today. I don't know if you've heard that song. I don't even know what it's called. It's some Anxiety, I think it might be called. And there's like this dance that Will Smith does, like from way back when he was in the 90s in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They show a clip of him and then him doing it now. And it's a song, I believe it's called Anxiety. And the words, I've got anxiety, but I forget exactly what it is. I was watching it, and in my YouTube shorts, it popped up 4 or 5 times where I woke up this morning with that song in my head, and I was like, get out. If I'm saying the word anxiety in my head from that song, because that song is playing in my head, I'm literally calling it a vibration that is not of my desired intent. And so it's so wild. We have to be careful with what we watch, what we let in through the senses, the eyes and the ears, and be careful what comes out of our mouth. Our senses are so powerful. And when we tune into our sixth sense, which is our intuition, our knowingness, our connection to the divine of knowingness, that is where power comes in. And if we don't use it properly, it can be used negatively, because we are so powerful. When we speak things into existence, they become our reality, as within, so without. So when we sit there and we have turmoil and chaos inside, fighting in our head with someone about something that happened somewhere in some time, we're literally giving our power away, our life force energy, our biofield. Our thoughts create frequency. Our emotions create magnetic fields. We literally pull in exactly what we are emanating out, what we are feeding the field, the quantum field, the invisible life force field that is in everyone, everything, everywhere, all at once. And at first it might sound a lot to grab your head around, but understand everything started as sound, like somatics. They show sacred geometry with different sounds. These sound frequencies shape the quantum field, and it's shown through when you see somatics done with sound frequencies of notes and sand on a metal board. It creates these sacred geometry patterns. Imagine those thoughts and feelings you're having, and it makes those patterns in water as well. When they freeze the water, it shows these patterns. Dr. Yumoto did a study on messages in water. When we sit, hey Beverly, great to see you, hey Gary. When we sit in these thought processes that are negative, it shows that the water structure turns into these globules that look chaotic. But when they spoke loving words to this water, just like if we have loving thoughts to ourselves and our body's mostly water, it created these beautiful symmetrical shapes like snowflakes and crystalline structures of sacred geometry patterns that were of healing, that were used for healing. If you looked at Tartarian buildings. They had sacred geometry everywhere because it was the shapes and frequency of those shapes that the energy went through that would heal the cells in our body. And when we use our mind and look at neuroscience and epigenetics, our thoughts change the molecular structure of our human body. And when we're in a negative place, we can easily be triggered because our nervous system is programmed with those thoughts. The reactions are programmed. When we renew our mind, we change the epigenetic structure of what's going on inside our body, creating those more harmonious sacred geometry messages to our cells. And when we think negativity, we have cellular breakdown where we actually cause that chaotic inflammation, immune system issues. When you feel down or something negative, you notice you start getting sick faster. These are things that we can change by renewing our mind, by utilizing positive conscious thoughts, being aware of what thoughts you think every single day, documenting how you think, being aware of your thought and going, ooh, is that bringing more light or darkness into my world? And when we're in those lower vibrational states, we become emotionally stagnant. And who wants to be emotionally stagnant? I know I don't. I want to be vibing high and happy and joyful, because as within, so without, when you send out gratitude, appreciation, compassion, it changes the vibration of your heart's electromagnetic field. Then if it's in fear, worry, pain, shame, guilt, grief, and we're feeding the field that. Now imagine if everybody made a conscious decision to step out of fear and walk in faith and raise our vibration of gratitude, grateful that we woke up this morning with this breath, grateful that we have our eyes to see the beauty of this world, arms grateful to hug our friends and family, all of our ears to hear the music of the birds chirping and the whispering of the leaves blowing. These are divine gifts that we overlook when we're in our mind and not in our present moment. And it's so important to start learning to be in the present moment authentically, by choice of choosing how you want to show up every single day. Because it doesn't just affect you or me, it affects all of humanity and beyond. You know, if we don't start coming into our heart space and realizing that we are feeding the field, we can feed the field fear, which is what we're in currently, or we can feed it faith, and knowing that when we go in our heart, we are not only communicating with each other at our soul level, but we're actually connecting interdimensionally to other beings in different star systems, different galaxies, planets. We are not the only conscious life form in this universe. And we have to choose, do we want to invite more love in? Or do we want to invite more chaos and stress and war? Well, I know I'm choosing to be in the light and to shine my light so bright that hopefully one day it helps someone else feel okay to shine their light in their unique way and not feel weird for doing so, but know that every person who shines their light, rather than hiding their light under a bushel, I keep thinking of this song that I learned in preschool. We used to have to go, hide my light under a bushel. Oh no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide this light under a bushel. Oh no, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And it's letting our divine God spark shine within us. It's what's necessary for humanity to evolve, our souls to evolve, to remember why we came here to this planet. Do you ever sit there and go, who am I? And why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here? Who am I? Who am I? And when I asked myself that, and I asked my higher self, and I asked God, and I just asked for a message, I heard you are a divine light and love, vibrating at a specific frequency of love, unity, and harmony. And when you shine your light, and you shine it bright and know that you are limitless, you give others permission, like a ripple effect in the quantum field. We are stars. We are stardust. We are of this earth. And we need to ask, how can I serve the greater good of all today? When we step out every day into public, how can I be of service to the greater good of all? Sit there in silence for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute. If you feel like you were so chaotic in your life that you don't have time, Sit there and say, how do you want me to show up today, and where can I be of service for the greater good of all? And if you stay in the present moment in gratitude, joy, appreciation, compassion, God will show you the people, the places, the things that need to show up in your realm in order to serve. But if we are so locked into our phones, mindlessly scrolling on Reels or Shorts or TikTok, not gonna lie, we all do it. We just have to be conscious when we get pulled into that stream, because sometimes it's good. You're learning information that's helping your soul evolve, as long as you're watching content that's helping you evolve. If you're watching dumb, religious, political, division type content, you're creating more division. But let's feed the field. We can use technology for the greater good of all by feeding it conscious content that helps bring out the greatest of everyone. We have this choice, guys. And it's going to take more than just me or you who's watching this. It's going to take it to go viral, for people to realize that we are powerful, God-blessed beings made in his likeness and image to be the change we want to see in this world. Oh, my phone's overheating. It's saying we have to be the change we want to see in this world. And it starts with you and me to be that change, to stand authentically in our limitless power, to command the quantum field through love, compassion, joy, vibration, emotions. We can command it to send that ripple effect into the field to help others stand in their authentic, limitless power and be the change they want to see in the world. Because when 1% of the population makes this shift into a choice of showing up in love, compassion, joy, and unity, when they step out their door and go, I'm going to vibrate this, sit in your heart for 3 minutes a day and just breathe into your heart of gratitude that you have this heart beating every day, that you have these lungs to breathe in this beautiful life force energy every single day that is ancient. This air that we breathe has been here